Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Yesterday, seemingly out of nowhere, I'm not aware of any notification prior to this, but Ripple had a live stream. There are two of their employees. There's Monica Long, Senior Vice President of Marketing, and Michelle Bond. She is Head of Government Relations. And it was set up in such a way that Monica was essentially interviewing Michelle. It was mostly Michelle sharing her thoughts on an array of subjects within the context of regulatory clarity in the crypto space, largely. Got lots of good stuff from this, including the fact that Ripple is working with 50 governments around the world. And so they're taking the big boy route. They're being adults, and they're making sure that they're following a legal framework that makes sense. Now, this video, like the content in this, it's awesome. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. Up front, I want to tell you, it's kind of similar to my very last video. I've got 3 articles open on the same topic, and there are parts that I want to read from all, and I'm going to do my best to not have too much overlap. And I apologize in advance if I read something from this article that more than once, because there might be some overlap in a couple of these, but I will do my very best to minimize that. I've also got, let's see, there was here we go. There's a piece from, I think it's from Daily Hodl, about UK regulators basically saying, yeah, XRP not a security. I've covered that a little bit on this channel, but there's a new article and I want to cover some of the specifics in it. I've got another piece separate from that about Hester Pierce of the SEC talking about how they don't want companies to leave U.S. soil. They do want regulatory clarity for the crypto space. And then I will close the video out with a piece from CoinDesk about how Coinbase foiled a very sophisticated attack. It was I'll just get into the details towards the end of the video, though. But before we get going here, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, my friends, congratulations, you're at the right place. You made it to the Moon Lambo channel. And hey, it's Friday. It's a good day. We should be happy. All smiles, right? So this live stream, again, it was yesterday. It was about 20 minutes long. I didn't get to catch it live, but I did watch it after the fact while I was driving around. I'm always listening to crypto and XRP stuff when I'm driving around. Why would I want to listen to the stupid radio when I can stream YouTube content and listen to other content creators out there? So there's only a couple pieces from the piece from Ripple on the screen that I want to share with you, and this is from Ripple's website. It states, in a live stream, or live discussion, Michelle Bond, Ripple's global head of government relations, discusses the current global regulatory landscape and what lies ahead with Ripple's SVP of marketing, Monica Long. Bond previously noted, globally, there isn't a single jurisdiction that isn't paying attention to the fintech space, especially when it comes to blockchain and digital assets. In the United States alone, 3 Senate hearings in July evaluated the potential impact of digital asset regulation on an industry growth and economic development. CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Executive Chairman and co-founder Chris Larson wrote an open letter to Congress urging these legislators to support fintech policy that fosters responsible innovation and classifies digital assets in a way that recognizes their fundamental differences, not painting them with a broad brush. And let me jump into a piece from A&B Crypto on this, and it is titled, Ripple's Michelle Bond backs a principle-based framework for crypto regulations in the United States. And, you know, this is the first time I'd ever heard Michelle speak, and she is sharp. Man, she knows her stuff. That's time and again what you see from anybody that speaks at Ripple. Yeah, they're cream of the crop type people. So I'm sure they go through quite a vigorous screening process when it comes to employment there. And it kind of shows in the caliber of people that are speaking on their behalf. Anyway, the piece begins. Apart from Bitcoin's resurgence and the brief bull run the market had been on since April 2019, has been highlighted by governments and financial institutions seriously discussing crypto regulations. The fire was fueled by Facebook's introduction of Libra, an announcement which made major headlines, especially after both the U.S. Senate and the United States House of Representatives took the crypto project's case very publicly. That and the fact that major crypto participants such as Binance and Circle have voiced their concerns about the United States' lack of regulatory clarity has created quite a few ripples, too. You see what they did there? They used the word ripples because they're, it's a Ripple article. Haha, so funny. In a recent interview with Monica Long, Michelle Bond, head of government relations at Ripple, submitted her opinion on the current crypto regulation scenario. Bond told the Ripple's SVP of marketing that the current situation was all over the spectrum as countries around the world held different opinions on cryptocurrencies. Some countries remained very hostile towards virtual assets, whereas others were more friendly and open-minded towards the idea of digital currency. Bond added, and here's a quote from Michelle now, "We would always advocate for principle-based framework as opposed to something that's prescriptive, and the reason I say that is a principle-based framework would allow for new technologies and it can be adaptive as time goes on. I think it is also important to have clear definitions. I think that gives businesses comfort in moving forward, and regulators are able to put some sort of guardrails on based on those definitions." And when I heard her say that, I got to tell you, you know what popped in my head is just the fact that there are all sorts of regulatory bodies within the United States and really jurisdictions the world over that want to classify cryptocurrencies as different things. Is it a currency? Is it a commodity? Is it a utility token or whatever? You know, what is it? And I think conceptually people just need, entities that are governing this type of technology just need to acknowledge that in terms of how to classify this asset, these digital assets, these cryptocurrencies, you need to allow for more fluidity. Whereas many commodities will always purely be commodities, not so much the case when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So I've always been of the mindset that needs to be accounted for in whatever reasonable regulation comes forth. Bond also praised the UK's regulatory authorities, claiming that the UK Financial Conduct Authority did a commendable job of defining digital assets and the categories that they are placed in. Michelle Bond isn't the first Ripple employee to speak out about crypto regulations, as Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse had previously voiced his opinion on the matter after he sent an open letter to the United States regulators. Garlinghouse's open letter urged the government to facilitate regulations for virtual assets that did not put U.S. companies at a disadvantage. He wanted regulators to take into account the fundamental differences between cryptocurrencies before classifying every asset under the same bracket. Absolutely, I'm completely on the same page there, unquestionably. All right, on to the next piece. It's the same topic, though, and you're going to want to hear this. This is from XRP Right Now. The reason I really want to share this with you, and I really appreciate whoever it is that put this together, they put together the highlights of the entire thing in bullet point fashion, so I can just run through these with you so you get all the highlights right here in case you're never going to listen to the 20-minute video that I just shared with you. So anyway, whoever wrote this titled, "Breaking News, Ripple Confirms Regulatory Engagement with 50 Governments." Monica Long, the Senior Vice President of Marketing for Ripple, and Michelle Bond, who is Head of Government Relations for Ripple, put out a video yesterday afternoon on Ripple's YouTube page in regards to digital currency and regulations around the world. Michelle Bond provided a ton of insight into the current global regulatory climate around the world of digital currency and blockchain. You can find the full video below, but here are the key takeaways. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like there's at least 5 bullet points. So here's the first one. Michelle Bond is a lawyer by trade and worked in various aspects of the law and worked in global law firms. She worked for the Senate Banking Committee for the United States and the Securities and Exchange Commission, and now has come back to the private sector. Next bullet point. Ripple is a regulated company within itself. Next bullet point. Ripple is FIN's regulated Department of Financial Services, and they have a BIT license. Next one. Some of the leaders in regulation. UK Financial Conduct Authority has been a leader in the space, put out a revised framework a couple of weeks ago. Asia Pacific has been leading edge, Singapore and Thailand. Switzerland adopted the digital asset framework into their existing financial service framework. Abu Dhabi looking to attract business. Ripple is actively engaged with 50 governments around the world, and the regulators are hearing what Ripple has to say. The United States is trying to provide clarity. They have to, unless they will lose business overseas. Yeah, not ideal. Globally, regulators on the whole are doing a great job. Fantastic news all around. All right, next here, this is it's a Ripple-focused article from Daily Hodl titled, Ripple, UK regulator signals XRP is not a security. And in the context of what I just covered in this video so far, I thought this was perfect to throw in here. The United Kingdom has issued guidance indicating XRP as non-security attributes according to Ripple. The crypto remittance company recently filmed a video segment focused on digital asset regulations around the world, and its officials appear to be referenced in a July consultation paper from the UK Financial Conduct Authority that compares XRP to Ethereum. According to the paper, and here's a quote, tokens may have mixed features that may overlap with the above categories or change over time. For example, Ether can be used as a means of payment, an exchange token, on the Ethereum platform, and can also be used to run applications, which is utility token. XRP has similar features. The paper lists security tokens, exchange tokens, and utility tokens as the three categories. It remains unclear, however, whether UK regulators have actually taken a concrete step towards classifying XRP as something other than a security. It's an important distinction for Ripple, which faces a class action lawsuit in the United States, with the plaintiffs alleging that the San Francisco-based company violated state and federal laws by selling XRP as an unregistered security. By the way, I thought that was squashed. Is that thing still going on? I read that and I was like, I thought that was done. But anyway, whatever. Outside the scope of this video. Last month, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse penned an open letter to Congress calling on lawmakers to develop a crypto regulatory policy that encourages innovation and recognizes the differences in digital assets. Ripple notes that the UK, Singapore, Switzerland, and Abu Dhabi already have in place digital asset market frameworks that both support innovation and address risk. And so, I love seeing the regulatory clarity from some places. Can we just get some from the United States? Well, good news is the SEC's Hester Pierce says yes. I mean, sort of eventually, right? So here's a piece from AMB Crypto. SEC's Hester Pierce Hester Pierce promises regulatory clarity, says SEC doesn't want crypto businesses like Circle moving offshore, which just happened. Womp womp. Regulatory developments across the world are forcing crypto businesses to find homes in lenient geographies. Hester Pierce, a commissioner at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, featured in an interview to clear some of the fog left in the wake of the lack of clarity in the United States regulations regarding crypto ecosystem. Pierce stated, one of the benefits of this kind of technology is that it connects people from all across the world. We certainly don't want people to feel they have to go offshore to put one of those crypto projects in place. She suggested that an increase in regulatory certainty would not only help companies maintain their home base within U.S. territories, but also draw people back to the United States. Her statement came in light of the Jeremy Allaire-led Circle moving a majority of its operations to Bermuda, citing regulatory uncertainty in the United States. Additionally, Pierce advised crypto businesses to, quote, go into the SEC and tell them about their business plan, and in turn receive guidance from the SEC to give impetus to their business goals. While displaying a welcoming attitude towards crypto adoption, the commissioner also warned crypto businesses that intend to undertake fraud or unregistered offerings. She added, and this is the quote from her, we need to be proactive in providing clear rules and guidance so that people know what to comply with. And then we can hold them accountable for not complying with it. This is not exactly rocket science. Is it, guys? Not rocket science? Yeah, I don't think so either. While admitting the government's delay in establishing clear crypto regulations, Pierce added that the SEC is currently working on building a level playing field, which will ensure that regulations don't pose as barriers to any form of crypto industry. Hester Pierce concluded the interview by welcoming further participation from the crypto community. She said, I encourage people to come talk to us. If you think we don't understand something or we have gotten something wrong, come talk to us. And one of the more honest, really forthcoming things that Hester had said recently is, and I covered this in a fairly recent video, she was on a panel for something. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was Fortune magazine. I can't remember. But she was on stage, and Ashish Burla was in the crowd, Ripple employee, who was one of the senior vice presidents, and he was asking, what's the timeline for regulatory clarity? And in a nutshell, that's what he asked anyway. And Hester said, well, it's going to come, but it's going to be slow. And she was so honest, and this will be fascinating if you haven't heard this yet. But she said that basically the reason that it hasn't happened yet, from her perspective anyway, is that her, let's say, coworkers within the SEC are really concerned about putting their necks on the line, because even if they do their best to engage in thoughtful regulation, the concern, as Hester stated it, is that if something goes wrong, heads will roll. People will really be in trouble. And so then she just said, look, I'm already the one that's known as the crypto person in general. I'm the crypto lady, so I'm paraphrasing now. And so you can just pin it all on me. That would be easy to do. And she just kind of said it emphatically like that, and I can appreciate the sentiment behind that. But if you're going to be, my stance, though, and I believe what she's saying, but when I heard her say that, I'm just thinking, man, if you are in such a role where it is the expectation that you provide guidance from a regulatory perspective for whatever it may be, that you do your job, okay? And so she's not saying that they're not doing their job. Of course, she wouldn't go that far, though. I wouldn't really expect that. But you can't let fear prevent you from doing what is functionally the right thing to do. And when she said that, it sounds to me like that is what's stopping them, right? I think that's fair to say, right? All right, last piece, and then I'll wrap up the video here. And this is a fascinating one. This is from CoinDesk, and it's titled "Coinbase Sets Out How They Foiled a Sophisticated Hacking Attack." And this is really fascinating. This is a very elaborate setup, by the way. Check this out. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase has described how it was targeted by and foiled a sophisticated, highly targeted, thought-out attack aimed to access its systems and presumably to make off with some of the billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency it holds. In an August 8th blog post that sets out in technical detail how the plot unfolded and how the exchange countered the attempted theft, Coinbase said the hackers used a combination of means to try and hoodwink staff and access vital systems. Methods that included spear phishing, social engineering, and browser zero-day exploits. The attack had started on May 30th with a dozen staff being sent emails that purported to be from Gregory Harris, a research grants administrator at the University of Cambridge. Far from random, these cited the employees' past histories and requested help with judging projects competing for an award. And I got to tell you, this already sounds way more sophisticated than all the spam that I get. How many of you have gotten an email from like a prince in, like, I don't know, Arabia or something? like how many of you have gotten they need help moving $5 million across in some elaborate scheme? If you just send them some, they can send the rest back. I think we've all got those spam emails. This seems much more elaborate than that. So anyway, Coinbase said, this email came from the legitimate Cambridge domain, contained no malicious elements, passed spam detection, and referenced the backgrounds of the recipients. Over the next couple weeks, similar emails were received. Nothing seemed amiss. The attackers developed email conversations with several staffers, holding back from sending any malicious code until June 17, when Harris sent another email containing a URL that, when opened in Firefox, would install malware capable of taking over someone's machine. Coinbase said that, within a matter of hours, Coinbase security detected and blocked the attack. The first stage of the attack, the post indicates, first identified the OS and browser on the intended victim's machines, displaying a convincing error to Mac OS users who were not using the Firefox browser, and prompting them to install the latest version of the app. Once the emailed URL was visited with Firefox, the exploit code was delivered from a different domain that had been registered on May 28th. It was at this point that the attack was identified based on both a report from an employee and automated alerts, Coinbase said. Its analysis found that Stage 2 would have seen another malicious payload delivered in the form of a variant of the Mac targeting backdoor malware called Mox. Coinbase explained there had been two separate Firefox zero-day exploits utilized in the attack. One that allowed an attacker to escalate privileges from JavaScript on a page to the browser, CVE 2019-11707, that means nothing to us, but anyway, and one that allowed the attacker to escape the browser sandbox and execute code on the host computer. Notably, the former was discovered by Samuel Grob of Google's Project Zero at the same time as the attacker, though Coinbase played down the likelihood that the hacking team had gained the information on the vulnerability via that source. Grubb addresses that in a Twitter thread. In another sign of the sophistication of the hacking team labeled by Coinbase as Crypto3 or Hide7, it took over or created 2 email accounts and created a landing page at the University of Cambridge. That's astounding. This is so elaborate. Coinbase said, "We don't know when the attackers first gained access to the Cambridge accounts or whether the accounts were taken over or created." As others have noted, the identities associated with the email accounts have almost no online presence, and the LinkedIn profiles are almost certainly fake. After discovering the single affected computer at the company, Coinbase said it revoked all credentials on the machine and locked all the staffers' accounts. Once we were comfortable that we had achieved containment in our environment, we reached out to the Mozilla security team and shared the exploit code used in this attack, the exchange said. The Mozilla security team was highly responsive and was able to have a patch out for it by the next day, same week. That's speedy, at least, right? Coinbase also contacted Cambridge University Report and helped fix the issue, as well as gain more information on the attackers' methods. Coinbase concluded, "The cryptocurrency industry has to expect attacks of this sophistication to continue. And by building infrastructure with excellent defensive posture and working with each other to share information about the attacks we're seeing, we'll be able to defend ourselves and our customers, support the crypto economy, and build the open financial system of the future." So I just found it genuinely fascinating, so I want to share it with you. But that's it for this video, boys and girls. Thank you for watching. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!